Hello and welcome back to Cooking for Two 101. Today we're making probably my favorite meal, chicken fettuccine Alfredo. I have here chicken breast. It's cut up into about 1/2 inch pieces, and I am seasoning it heavily with my favorite Italian seasoning. You want to season this heavily because cream sauce doesn't really have a lot of flavor. This is where a lot of the flavor is going to come from. I am heating up my Finex. I'm going to add to it about 3 tablespoons, maybe 1/4 cup of grapeseed oil because it can get really hot. If you don't have grapeseed oil, don't not make this. Just use olive oil and watch the heat. As soon as that starts to shimmer, which it's already doing, thank you Finex, we're going to put the chicken in. I'm just going to give it a little test. Make sure it says sizzling. Yay, we're sizzling. And what I'm going to do is sear this chicken breast on all sides. You want to get the crunch, and you also want the fond to build up on the bottom. The fond is what's going to flavor our sauce. And that takes some time, not going to lie, but it's really worth it. So we're going to do that, and we'll be back when we're ready to move on. Okay, it's been a couple minutes and I've started turning the chicken, but this is what you're looking for, this brown yumminess all over here. Don't let your pan get too hot because you don't want black yumminess because that's not yummy. Also, I wanted to tell you, because I forgot earlier, start your pasta according to package directions if you're using dried pasta. If you're using fresh pasta, just get the water ready because it cooks in a couple minutes. But otherwise, that takes 4 or 5 minutes. This goes really fast. All right, we got maybe another 1.5 minutes. We'll be right back. So it's been about 4 minutes, and our chicken is beautifully browned. We've built up quite a bit of fond on the bottom of the pan, and I'm going to take it out. I'm also going to turn down my temperature to about medium as opposed to medium high. Next, what we're going to do, once I get all this deliciousness out of here, is saute our onions. And then right before they become translucent, we're going to add the garlic. Garlic burns really fast, so you don't want to cook them all together because burnt garlic is bitter, and that's not what we want. This is going to take about 2 minutes, and we'll be back. Okay, the onions are translucent, and they smell amazing. I'm going to add 2 minced garlic cloves, and I'm going to stir vigorously. You don't want these to burn. While you're cooking the onions, you're going to start pulling up some of that fond, which is a really good idea because it's going to get into the onions as well. Oh, I can already smell the garlic. That means you're ready to move on. And what we're going to do next is add half a cup of chicken broth, and we're going to deglaze the pan. You may need to turn your pan back up a little bit. I think I'm going to, because you want to see a lot of bubbling activity. And now you're going to scrape all of the rest of the fond that's on the bottom of the pan up and get it into the sauce. This may take a couple of minutes, but that's okay. It's already going pretty quick, so we'll be back when it's ready. Okay, our pan is beautifully deglazed. There's nothing left on the bottom at all. And what I'm going to do now is turn off my pan. And I'm doing that because it's a cast iron skillet. It holds its heat very well. If you're not using a cast iron skillet, turn your stove down to about medium. What we're going to do next is add 3/4 of a brick of room temperature cream cheese that I've cut into pieces. This is going to be the base of our sauce. We're not going to make a roux. We're not going to use a jar because that's crazy town. This is so easy. And we're going to start stirring it in. It's going to take a couple minutes, especially because I turned the heat off. And if you find that it's not melting, just turn it back on or turn it up a little bit. But I think this is going to be warm enough. So this is going to take probably 2 minutes. We'll be right back. So the cream cheese has melted. It's beautiful, but it's going to get really, really thick as we continue to cook. So now I'm going to add in 1/2 cup of whole milk. And I wish I had remembered to take my whole milk out of the refrigerator earlier, but I didn't. So it's going to bring down the temperature. So I'm going to turn it back up to about a little less than medium. And I'm going to stir the sauce in, the milk into the sauce. Oh, Look at it. It's just beautiful. All right, I'm also going to add another tablespoon of Italian seasoning, or, you know, however much that is, palmful. It's about a tablespoonful. But remember, milk and cream cheese don't have any flavor, so you must remember to add some more seasoning at this point, along with some salt and pepper. A little light on the salt, though, because we're going to add some Parmesan, and that's very salty. All right, we're also going to return the chicken back to the sauce and stir it around and let it reheat. So by now your noodles should be done. Mine are done. They're back here. They're cooling. I didn't drain them because I do want a little bit of that extra pasta water. It has a bit of starch in there, which helps thicken your sauce in case you need it. So don't pour all that water down the drain. Just wait. And if your sauce is too thick, you can add some pasta water. All right, I'm going to bring this back up to temperature, but not too hot. It's a lot of cheese in there. Maybe 45 seconds to a minute. We'll be right back. Okay, when your sauce starts to bubble just a little bit, just like this, that's it. That's enough. You're done with that. We're going to turn it off, and now we're going to add about a half a cup of grated Parmesan. And I'm going to reserve a little bit for garnish because who doesn't want to do that? It's so fun to garnish your meal. And I'm also going to add in a pinch, maybe a big tablespoon of minced parsley. I'm going to stir this together, and I'm going to add my pasta. All right, pasta's ready. And I'm just going to scoop it right out of this dish and into the sauce, because the sauce needs a little bit of starch in it. Oops. All right, there we go. Yum. I'm going to toss it about a bit. Oh, it's beautiful. I'm so excited. If my sauce was thicker than this, I might add a little bit more pasta water, but I think this is just perfect. It's coating the noodles perfectly. You can drag your spoon through it and it leaves a line. That means it's nice and thick. What I'm going to do now is let it rest. It's important. The noodles will absorb the flavor of the sauce. Let it rest. I know you're excited. I'm excited too. But give it a couple minutes. We'll be back to plate up in a minute. All right, we're all plated up. I did garnish with a little bit of extra Parmesan and some parsley. If it's too rich for you, which it may be, a little bit of lemon juice cuts right through that, but this is so good just like it is, so don't do that. Happy dance. This is so good. So when I was in college, I lived 2 blocks away from an Italian restaurant, and they made the best chicken fettuccine Alfredo. I have spent the rest of my days trying to match that recipe, but I think I beat it. This is the way to go. No, it's not perfectly white, but I'll tell you what, it's perfectly delicious. All right, don't forget to like, share with your friends. Try this recipe. Not kidding you. Super easy, uber delicious. All right, thanks for watching. See you soon.